Okay, today we're going to be taking a look at the new Dremel 8150 cordless, brushless rotary tool. Just to give a little background, I have many Dremel rotary tools. Most of them are from the 4000 series. I have one on a dedicated Dremel drill press. I have one with the dedicated rotary shaft, the long shaft on it. I have another one that I just have just a cutting tool on. They all are plug-in models. I do have an older Dremel battery powered. I don't even want to give the model number of that one. It's pretty old. I mean, my personal opinion, it wasn't my go-to for much. It was kind of weak. So I've been wanting to try one of the newer Dremel battery rotary tools, but I don't know, I just kept plugging stuff in. But here we are today. I've got the 8150. This is the box. Okay, it comes with the tool, which has an internal battery. Comes with a charging cord, USB. It's USB-C to USB-A. Comes with a variety of attachments, just like you'd normally get with most Dremel tools. Okay. It appeared to come pre-charged. So I did put it on the charger, and it showed it was charged within, I don't know, 5 minutes. So it came pre-charged. Oh, it also comes with the manual, of course. And I have to say, the manual is very well done. Tells you everything you could possibly want to know about the tool, as well as what I liked is it has these charts. Depending upon what you want to do, it gives you the best ideas for your tips to put in the tool. It gives you the part numbers, so it's easy to find if there's something you're not sure of which tip you want to use. That was a nice find in the manual. I primarily use my Dremels for shop work, mostly working on ATVs, side-by-sides, lawnmowers. I do a lot of repairs for people. So the inconvenience of a plug-in Dremel when you have something parked outside and you can't take off the part, yeah, it's big. I do have another manufacturer's 18-volt Dremel, but it is so big and bulky it doesn't get into the majority of the places. So when this one showed up and I got it in my hand, I liked it. It's small, it fits good in your hand. Although the other one that I have from the other manufacturer is big and powerful, you can't use it one-handed. You just can't. So that means you either need to put the piece you're working on in a vise, or it has to be on the vehicle, whereas this one is light enough that I can work one-handed with this one, and it's in the way that the neck is, you can get a nice grip with your finger by the tip to hold it in place and work with it. As the other Dremels I had, changing the tips is easy. You press the lock button, and then there's a knurled section here, and you just turn it. You can slide your different tips out. This is your power button. It'll show you your battery indicator here, and after reading the manual, it also has error codes and codes that will flash telling you what's going on with either charging or if it got too hot or a variety of different things, which is nice. You have your speed control at the bottom, your USB port at the bottom. I don't see, and I didn't open this, but I'm hoping you'll be able to buy a replacement battery. Now, as you know, just like cell phones and stuff, sometimes I'll keep a cell phone for 3 or 4 years and the battery still lasts. So if you get 3, 4, 5 years out of this and the battery doesn't go bad, then yeah, I don't really see a need for them to offer replacement batteries. But I hope they do, just in case of a premature error. But right now, the power I'm getting out of this is, even though it listed as 8 volts, it is incredibly powerful, strong. It fed all my needs that I use them for. Now, generally, I use Dremels for 3 functions. I use the sanding wheels, I use the metal cutting forwarding wheels, the reinforced discs. This is probably what I use it for the most. Sanding is the second. And then last, I do some polishing with it. But really it's sanding and cutting. Every now and then I'll shape some metal with some of the metal bits. But that's really what I use it for. And a perfect example is I was working on this mower. In fact, let me just undo this and we'll go take a look. Okay, I worked on this mower yesterday, and what I was doing was on the wheel hub steering arms, I was converting them over to a ball bearing system to make them easier to steer, more longevity on the wheels. The wheels are now ball bearing, the steering is ball bearing, just to make stuff last, because the little nylon inserts they put on those wheels wear out quickly, and then you're metal on metal, and the next thing you know, your hub shaft is worn away. So I decided that we were going to upgrade that. Now, on the top of the shaft, where you see this little plastic cap, everything might look a little wet, it was raining last night, where you see the plastic cap, underneath that is going to be one of these, they call it like a push nut or a spring nut washer, and this locks down on the top of the 3/4 inch shaft instead of having, you know, threads on the rod with a nut. Now, these are okay, but if you have to work on the shaft, trying to get these off is a nightmare. And you're going to end up gouging the shaft badly. You're going to end up with burrs all over the shaft. So that's where the Dremel comes in. I usually stick the cutting head, I'll show you again. I usually stick the cutting head on these, and of course the cutting head's stuck in the box right now. There it is right there. So I stick the cutting head on, and then what I do is I just very carefully, where you see one of the spaces right there, I just cut from the edge until I hit that space. Then I use a pair of pliers to bend this away so that the shaft is damaged as little as possible. Now, it is going to have some burring, because when they smack this thing on from the factory, you're going to have burring on that shaft. So what happens is you go to put your washers on and your new bearings, and they won't fit over the 1/4 inch shaft because of those. And that's where we then put the next tip on, which is the sanding tip, and you take all the burrs off of the 3/4 inch shaft so that everything will go on smoothly. This cordless performed just as good as the higher power rotary tool that I have. This will now be my go-to cordless. In fact, this will be my go-to in general. It performed really well, tons of power. I have to say, the LED lights on the front, super bright. I mean, and you can remove them and put more attachments on, just like the corded versions that I have, but I was really, really happy with this unit. I do a lot of not only sanding, but, and I have different types of polishing heads. I also use some very, very fine sanding discs for cleaning battery terminals and connections that have gotten corroded. So I use a Dremel at least once a day with all the repairs that I do, at least once a day. So really happy with this. I mean, I'll probably do a long-term review after I've had it for a few months, but I really can't see anything glaring about this that I can say, geez, I wish they did this better. I think it's a great tool, and as of right now, I would really recommend it. So I'm going to end this, because again, I don't have much more to say, and I will do probably an updated review, like I said, in about 6 months, and we'll see how it's holding up and what's going on. But great tool, I recommend one. Thanks for watching.